Hi, and welcome to Sports Innovation Lab's Audiences webinar. My name is Gina Waldhorn. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Sports Innovation Lab, and I am excited to bring you through our latest product, Sports Innovation Lab Audiences. If you're not familiar, Sports Innovation Lab is a fan intelligence and market research organization who is building the sports data cloud to help organizations across the sports media and entertainment ecosystem acquire and maximize the value of their future fans, who we call the fluid fan. Today on today's webinar, we're going to focus on one, what data do we have? We talk a lot about data, about using data to understand who fans are and how they behave. We're going to dive into exactly what makes up our data set and what makes it unique. We're going to talk about how we take that proprietary data and translate it into an audience of consumers that you can buy today. And we're going to tell you exactly how to get started with those addressable audiences to integrate them into your programs, into your media buys, to help you acquire and convert consumers and fans using our audiences. But first, let's start with the impetus and why we created the audience product, which we think is a challenge that a lot of you on today's webinar are faced with. The first is that it used to be easy to reach consumers through the lens of sports, because sports is built on a legacy model of media rights and tune in to appointment viewing games. But we all know over the last decade, viewership has tremendously fragmented. Younger consumers and fans are streaming content, watching clips, and consuming sports and athlete entertainment in the way they want, on the channels they want, when they want, making it much more difficult to simply find and engage those consumers and fans. But brands are still spending a lot of money to reach consumers through sports, through fandom. And it's time that we accelerate and we evolve the products, the modernity, and the way that we use data to help brands and agencies find those consumers and connect with them. There's still a lot of old school sponsorship spots and dots out there to reach sports fans. And that's a challenge that we know audiences and data can help overcome. And finally, we know that sports properties are looking to capture new fans. They're looking to grow their fans, expand into new audiences. But in order to do that, you have to know who your fans are or who your fan profile could be. But the data to understand who fans are and how they behave lives all over the place, right? So if you want to know who's watching, that's viewership data, and that's over with Nielsen. You want to know who's buying tickets to a game, that's over with Ticketmaster or SeatGeek. You want to know who's buying the merch, that's with Fanatics. You want to know who's following what athlete, that's over at Meta. And it's very costly, it's very time intensive. A lot of us are still doing this, building CDPs and data stacks in order to connect those disparate pieces of data to build a comprehensive 360 view of who a fan is. We believe our solution and our data set solves this problem of disparate data by showing you exactly who consumers are, what they're fans of, and how they behave, without needing to pull in those disparate sources of data and without needing to touch any of your data on day one. And our solution starts with the fact that we believe the truest expression of knowing who a consumer or a fan is and how they behave is through their wallet. And we are able to see everything that consumer buys. So today I can look at an individual fan and I can know what leagues they follow, what teams they're fans of, what merch they buy, from what merch retailer, if they're collectors, from what card company, are they streamers, do they bet, how much, how often, with what betting platform. We can see all of that complete picture of that fan behavior, of that consumer behavior, without touching any incremental sources of data. The way we're able to do that is through the foundation of our data set, which is transactional credit card level data customized for sports and entertainment. Today, we see the purchasing habits for more than 50 million US consumers over the past 3 years at a credit card row level of data. So we can see everything they buy, from where they pump their gas to where they buy their groceries to, like I mentioned, what teams they spend money on. If they bet, what they stream, we can see it all. We've also spent the last several years customizing a taxonomy and customizing and tagging that transactional data set specifically through the lens of sports and entertainment, which means we have 25% more coverage of sports-related retailers, brands, and merchants than any transactional data set out there. We have tagged every team, every venue, every league, the big merchandise players, but also the small ones like the Rally House and the Homage and the Breaking Tee. We have tagged over 2,000 specific new merchants into our data set that matter to sports and media and entertainment brands that are not available in any other transactional data set. So in total, we can see the purchase habits across more than 6,000 brands and retailers and merchants. And when we deploy that data into audiences, we see around a 200% lift in ROAS. We are also complementing that foundational transactional data set with other sources of data, be it from loyalty or subscription programs, some of our first-party data partners, through viewership data, through apps. And we have unique identifiers from email, phone number, or MAID or geographic identifiers. We cannot just see transactions, but how much, how often, how is that transaction size or frequency changed over time? And then we also have engagement identifiers and metrics. So when did they purchase? What was their access point? How much time did they spend? So we take all of these different types of data through all of these sources, and we combine it on top of that transactional based data set, which essentially creates something gigantic and messy with billions of rows that looks like this. And we're able to translate it into something that looks like this. This is an example of a fan segmentation for the NASCAR fan that shows us NASCAR fans' preferred cashless payment provider. That shows us some of their top brands, from Tesla to FanDuel and Chewy, their pet owners. That helps us understand if they're buying diapers and their parents, or they also are fans of women's sports. During racing season, do subscriptions behaviors change? What's their next favorite league outside of NASCAR? What are their favorite sustainable brands? And so on. And today, and what we launched actually in January at CES, is the ability to use this transactional data set, create deep behavior transactional based fan segmentations and personas, and translate those into addressable audiences that you can buy on your preferred marketplace or push to your preferred media platform. So today, those segments are available to buy directly from the Trade Desk or Google DV360, or to be pushed to Meta or TikTok through LiveRamp. We have over 30 audiences that can be bought off the shelf today, from our youth sports audiences, which are then customized to youth sports soccer, youth sports hockey, to sports fan gamers who are gaming on Xbox or PlayStation, to fans of NFL or women's sports who also purchase athleisure wear from Nike or New Balance or Athleta, to geographic fan markets, OTT streamers. These are all available to be purchased off the shelf today. I also want to talk about how that comes to life through specific events or specific use cases for some of our clients. So in this example, we know with the Super Bowl coming up, we have clients who are really eager to capitalize on the Tay-Tay phenomena. And they want to be able to find some of those new music fans, those younger fans who are now for the first time getting involved in NFL and the Super Bowl. We recommend something like our concerts and festivalist audiences, which are consumers who have purchased tickets to big concerts and festivals like the Eras Tour, like Coachella and more, or maybe spending on concert VIP experience or concert merch or lodging. And we can assign that addressable audience to your preferred platform and then allow you to reach those types of concerts and festivalists within your NFL and within your Super Bowl media buy to more accurately find those Swifties who are coming on board for the first time. We're also able to help some clients who want to find those fans who are kind of bandwagon and who maybe only participate in big sporting events, one-off sporting events. So we have an audience called Big Sporting Events that reaches consumers who have spent on US Open, Olympics, Kentucky Derby, bowl games, and again, allow you to address and capitalize and convert those one-off big sporting event fans. And then we have the NFL trendsetters. So we're able to identify consumers who spend with early adopter, younger, trendier brand, be it Patreon, Cotton On, Justice, Skims, and who are also purchasing from NFL teams, NFL Shop, NFL Games, and NFL merchants. So how do you find those maybe new fans, those younger fans, those trendy fans in and around the Super Bowl? Here's 3 different audiences we think are directly applicable and can be tested today. We know that streamers and bettors are key target markets for a lot of those media buys looking for acquisition. In this example, we have NBA sports bettors, consumers who have spent with specific NBA teams, bought NBA merch, maybe subscribed to NBA League Pass, and also have made specific transactions with betting platforms or casinos. When it comes to high value streamers, we know there's a constant churn and switching behavior out there, and sports is a critical trigger and lever to helping platforms acquire more subscribers. So we can see fans who spend the most on sports. For example, who are the highest spenders on NFL, merch, shop, streaming, and maybe they subscribe to a competitive streaming platform like Fubo, Sling, Hulu Live, or ESPN Plus. So carving out audiences based on specific platform streaming behavior and specific league fandom is something audiences is able to provide. And finally, we know that a lot of brands out there might be looking for sports adjacent consumers, fitness, active, athletes themselves. Maybe you're looking for individuals who purchase Gatorade. But just to know that someone purchased Gatorade isn't always enough, or shouldn't be enough, because you don't know if they're purchasing Gatorade because they're hungover or they're sick and they just want to hydrate, or if they purchase Gatorade and they're also really into endurance sports. So we have an audience targeted at those who spend money on running marathons, on run clubs, on Tough Mudders, on Spartan races, on experiential endurance, Ironman type activities and sports and fitness. We also have maybe a little lighter side, the yogis and the health nuts. We're able to isolate consumers who spend on yoga brands and who also maybe spend on yoga classes or apps. Maybe they also spend on supplements, Noom, weight loss, tracking, healthy meal kits delivered to their door. That's our yogi and health nut community. And then all of that, both of that, any of these audiences, we know that Gen Z and Gen Alpha even are high value audiences. And by being able to see the top Gen Z brands that are purchased by consumers, we know they fall into this market. So these are individuals who are spending money on Discord and Patreon and Xbox and PlayStation, indicating they are an early adopter. They are falling into this Gen Z set, and we can complement that with their sports fandom. And we think it's time for this data. We know there's other sports data out there, but the other sports data out there today has not been good enough. It's been very survey or cookie based, which is based on what fans say they do, or aspirationally how they may behave online. But we're anchoring it in what they actually spend their money on, which means it's deterministic and it's scaled. Sports audiences today have been very limited to the type of sport or the league, but it's time that we got down much deeper, including all US leagues, including emerging sports, Big Three, cricket, rugby, Athletes Unlimited, women's sports leagues, volleyball, as well as all of the teams, youth sports, participatory sports, and more. So this is the only data set that truly has that subject matter and domain expertise to cover the complete sports landscape. Everything we do is always fan focused, and we look to those attributes that display that somebody is a fluid fan, a future fan. They care about values-driven companies. They follow athletes. These are all indicators we can see in our data. Finally, we can push all of these unique audiences anywhere that meets your consumers where they are. These aren't just digital audiences. They can live in out of home. They can live on CTV. They can live on OTT. So chat with us, reach out to us, and ask us how we can push these addressable audiences to the platforms where you're currently using data or buying to find addressable consumers. And we're eager to create custom audiences. So I mentioned we have 30 audiences live today, but given that we have such a robust sports set of categories and brands, as well as our unique communities, as I mentioned, outdoor enthusiasts, daters, streamers, concerts, and festivalists, we're able to mix and match to create exactly the customer base, the consumer audience that you're looking for. So we want to hear about your brief. We want to hear about your challenge. We want to hear what you haven't been able to find with existing audiences and create those together with you. So I'll reiterate, if you're ready to buy something off the shelf, get started, start testing. You can buy these audiences from the Trade Desk and Google DV360 directly. We can push any of the audiences from LiveRamp to your preferred platform and reach out if there's something custom we can do for you. Now, before we leave, there's one other thing I want to mention, because we know that there are more data-centric organizations that are in control of their own CDP and CRM today. We are also working with clients to use our audiences for data exchange and enrichment. In this example, we're using a team fan. Maybe it's a Cubs fan. You've got a fan. You've got some unique identifiers within your own CRM and CDP. Maybe today you know what they watch. Maybe you know if they attend your games. You've got some website data and maybe an email, maybe some geographic location data. But you're missing what else they buy and how else they behave outside of your closed ecosystem. We can partner with you to provide that context and intelligence so you can see what other teams and other leagues and other sports they're interested in, what brands they buy, what categories they shop, if they're youth participants or not, if they're gamers or not, and all of these robust attributes and appends that can truly and exponentially increase the value of your own CDP data that then allows you to go out to market with a different sponsorship narrative, with data-driven sponsorship points to bring on new brands or partners, to prioritize your own partners, other teams, other leagues, to figure out how you're going to target and what your priority audiences should look like. We do all of this data matching with our partners at Snowflake. We use secure clean rooms. We have a connected ecosystem that upholds the strictest privacy policies that are compliant with CCPA, GDPR. So we're eager to chat with you if enriching your own data through our data set is something that you're interested in. And that ultimately will allow you to kind of shop from across our available attributes. So I'll go ahead and close out by encouraging you to reach out. I'm Gina at sportsilab.com. Hit me up on LinkedIn, Gina Waldhorn. You can reach out to our Chief Commercial Officer, Jennifer Polino at sportsilab.com, and reach out to our audience desk at any time at audiences@sportsilab.com to get custom and get creative with this new Sports Innovation Lab Audiences solution. Thanks for your time. We can't wait to get started with you.